Hi boys and girls, welcome to Everyday Math Lesson, Unit 3 Review. The materials that you'll need today, just your pencil and the Unit 3 Math Review packet. If you don't have one, that's okay. Just write your answers on your whiteboard or in your notebook. Let's get started. So this is what our first page looks like. And so if you can start by putting your name at the top, you don't need to worry about your date or the number. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read the questions to you that you can see, and then I'm going to ask that you pause the video to solve and then press play when you're ready to check your answers. So let's just look at questions 1, 2, and 3 on the first page. So question number 1 says, you buy a banana for 38 cents. Write penny, nickel, dime, or quarter to show the coins you could use to pay the exact amount. And number 2, you buy a red pepper for 23 cents. Write penny, nickel, dime, or quarter to show the coins you could use to pay the exact amount. For question number 3, you're solving. Be a little bit careful when you have 28 plus 8. A good strategy might be thinking 28 plus 10 and then subtracting 2 from that. And then also provide a unit. So if you can press pause to solve and then play when you're ready to check. All right, second graders, so you should be done with these first 3 questions. If I'm about to reveal an answer that you're not finished with, please press pause so that you have some time to solve. So there's more than one right answer, but I used the fewest amount of coins for 38 cents. So I have a quarter, a dime, which would get me to 35, and then 3 pennies would bring me to 38 cents. For question number 2, so I used 2 dimes, which would be 20, and then 3 pennies to get 23 cents. When you're solving, so I have 9 plus 4, which I know is 13, 7 plus 10 is 17, 16 plus 5, I know 16 plus 4 is 20, so 1 more would get me to 21. I know 28 plus 10 would get me to 38, so 2 less than that would be 36. 47 plus 2, I just want to start at 47 and add 2 more to get me to 49. And 193 plus 0, I would still have 193. And then the unit I chose was rocks. So double check to make sure you have this part correct before moving on to the second half of the page. The second half of the page, so you're counting by 2s, so start at 0 and record your numbers. And then count by 3s, and again, start at 0 and record your numbers. For 6 and 7, you're using this graph. So who has the most pretzels, who has the fewest pretzels. So if you can solve these 4 problems, and then press play when you're ready to check your answers. All right, second graders, and if I'm about to reveal an answer you haven't completed, then press pause to finish. So counting by 2s, I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, and 24. Then counting by 3s, I have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, and 36. Who has the most pretzels? I can see that Alyssa has the most pretzels because her bar goes all the way up to 6. Who has the fewest pretzels? I can see Dylan has the fewest pretzels because his bar is the shortest, going only up to 2. So again, double check that your answers are correct before moving on to the next page. So our next question is number 8, and again, I'll talk about questions 8, 9, and 10, and then ask you to complete those. So question 8 says, Christina has 26 red pencils. Miranda has 9 blue pencils. How many pencils do Christina and Miranda have in all? So if you can write your answer and then remember the unit, remember what are you adding together. For question 9, Devin has 34 toy horses. Cameron has 5 toy horses. How many toy horses do Devin and Cameron have in all? And again, don't forget about your unit. For question number 10, fill in the frames. So take a look at what the rule is. Think about the number that would come before and then the numbers that would come after. So again, press pause to solve and then play when you're ready to check your answers. All right, second graders, and again, if you need more time, just press pause. So I am adding Christina and Miranda's pencils together, and so I know that 26 plus 9 is equal to 35. I know 26 plus 10 would be 36, and then I'm just subtracting 1 from that to give me the 35, and my unit is pencils. And then Devin and Cameron, I'm adding 34 plus 5, which gave me 39 horses. You didn't have to put the number model on the side, but I think that's helpful when solving. For question number 10, fill in the frames. Since they gave me 37, I needed to subtract 10 to figure out that first number, which was 27. Then I had 47, 57, they gave me 67, and so then I ended at 77. So double check to make sure you have this part correct before moving on to the second half of the page. So looking at questions 11 and 12, question 11 has two rules. Whenever you see this dark line, you're going to add 12. Whenever you see the dotted line, you're going to subtract 8. It might be helpful to write your rule next to those arrows. Then for question 12, you're adding or subtracting. So when you're given one like 26 plus 8, it might be helpful to think, well, what's 26 plus 10? And then take away 2 from that. So if you could press pause to solve and then play when you're ready to check your answers. All right, second graders, so to figure out my first box, I needed to think 15 minus 12, which would give me 3. Then I'm at 15 and I'm going to subtract 8, which is a basic fact I know is 7. Then I have 7, I'm going to add 12, and that would bring me to 19. 19 minus 8, I should have 11. 11 plus 12, well, if I know that 11 plus 10 is 21, then I can add 2 more to get 23. 23 minus 8 would get me to 15, and I could start at 28 and count back, or start at 23 and count back 8 to get that answer of 15. And then 15 plus 12, I know 15 plus 10 would get me to 25. And so then I just need to add 2 more to get me to 27. For question number 12, you're adding or subtracting. So 26 plus 10 is 36, minus 2 would get me to 34. 15 plus 10 is 25. So when I have 31 plus 14, I know that 4 plus 1 is 5, and 3 plus 1 is 4, giving me the answer of 45. 20 plus 40, we know that 2 plus 4 is 6, and then we just add our 0 for 60. 14 minus 10 is going to get us to 4. If I'm at 37 and I'm subtracting 4, and I can count back from 37 4 spaces, which would get me to 33. And then for our last one, I know 50 minus 20 would get me to 30. So double check to make sure you have this page correct before moving on to the next page. So now we're looking at questions 13 and 14. How much money is it? Put your answer on the line. And then for question 14, you buy apple juice out of a vending machine for 63 cents. You put 3 quarters into the machine. How much change should you receive? And then think about the math you did for this problem. Write your number sentence. So if you could write your number model on this line. Press pause and then play when you're ready to check. All right, for the first one for number 13, I had 5 cents. Then I had 2 dimes, which was 20, a nickel, 25, 26, 27, 28 cents. Then I had 4 dimes and a nickel, which would get me to 45 cents. 3/4 is 75, plus a dime would bring me to 85, and the nickels would bring me to 90 and 95 cents. If you buy apple juice out of a vending machine for 63 cents and you put in 3/4, so 3/4 is going to be 75 cents minus 63. So I can think about where I'm starting at 63 and I want to end at 75. So 63 2 pennies would get me to 65 and a dime would bring me to 75 cents. So my change would be 12 cents. We'll work more on problems like this in future lessons. The second half of the page, I want to use this bar graph to answer the questions about how many children have 2 pets, how many have 0 pets, and how many have 6 pets. Press pause and then play when you're ready to check. All right, I can see that 3 children have 2 pets. I can see that 5 children. How many children have 0 pets? I can see that 5 have 0 pets. And how many have 6? I can see that 1 child has 6. For question 16, make a name collection box for 25. Write the numbers 257 in the place value box. So give me which number would be in the hundreds place, which in the tens, which in the ones. Then tell me how many hundreds, how many tens, and how many ones you have, and show that with base 10 blocks. Press pause and then play when you're ready to check. All right, so making that name collection box, there's lots of right answers, but these are the answers that I have. 1/4, 30 minus 5, 20 plus 5, 10 plus 15, and then 25 tallies. To show 257, I'm going to show it with a 2 in my hundreds, a 5 in my tens, and a 7 in my ones. I know I have 2 hundreds, 5 tens, and 7 ones. You didn't have to do this, but I did choose to do my 200 plus 50 plus 7 to show the expanded form. And then for base 10 blocks, I have 2 flats, I have 5 longs, and I have 7 cubes. We will now talk about the last part of this page. So question 18, it says circle the number in the tens place for each of these numbers. And then what part of the math test do you need the most? Do you need to practice the most? So you could just tell me which number you thought was the hardest. Press pause and then play when you're ready to check. All right, second graders. In the number 78, the 7 is in my tens place. In 92, the 9 is in the tens place. In the number 150, the 5 is in the tens place. In the number 236, the 3 is in the tens place. In the number 1482, the 8 is in the tens place. And in the number 4914, the 1 is in the tens place. And if you didn't already, just make sure to include which number you thought was the hardest. All right, thank you.